Yeah, so while we're waiting for Joe, who's going to be helping with some of the questions and passing them through, today we'll probably be talking about some of the stuff that kind of makes Moar a bit more unique, which is mostly going to be around our show creator, which is definitely one of the unique challenges we've had, as well as our chat feature, which if you've seen from our video, which if you haven't seen it already, you should. It's over on YouTube, which kind of shows off our first kind of showing of Moar. You'll kind of see that our chat feature is especially a bit more unique. So we're going to be talking through that as well. And potentially we might even be able to bring some people on if to ask questions themselves, if depending on how confident we feel about this Twitter Space thing. Cool. So let me invite Joe on here to speak, and then if he ever needs to, then he can just pass along some questions for us.
Absolutely. that sounds good.
See, if this was Moar, we could have used our great chat system to pass on questions, but
I know.
I guess Twitter will have to do. They're new guys. They're new guys in the area, so we'll give them a pass.
Of course. You know how it is.
Cool. So, do we have any first questions, Joe? Do you want to do it in that kind of style?
Yeah, of course. So, obviously, hello to everyone. I'm basically just going to ask some standard questions. We've got like a couple of good ones here that sort of help us get to know how chat works a little bit better, and also the show manager, which are two very exciting things we've got on Moar at the moment. And what I'll do is, if you have any questions at any other point, or you just want to ask something yourself, please do request to speak. I think there's a button in the bottom left-hand side of your screen. So if you want to request, Zac will let me know, and then we can get someone up to ask some questions. But let's get started with our first one here. So it's a very good question, actually. What makes the chat different compared to any other streaming platform like YouTube or Twitch or Facebook? What makes it different to anything we've seen before?
Yeah, so we sort of went over this in our announcement video, but we everyone at Codices has experienced a lot of live streaming, mostly on Twitch, but also on YouTube and TikTok. And no matter where you go, you kind of have the same sort of old IRC style chat room where you see a chat message and it just goes up through the chat. And we kind of realized there was there was some advantage to doing that. Mostly that, especially when you have a chat room with a lot of people, you tend to have it go quite fast, which means it kind of goes quite chaotic and you can't really read it. But it can be kind of fun as well to kind of just get that kind of like amalgamation of chat as to see like just generally what the feeling of them are, even though you can't really see what's happening. But it can be quite confusing to people, and it can be quite overwhelming at times as well. So what we decided to do to try and tackle these problems while also trying to keep those advantages was to kind of turn it on its side. It actually came from we kind of had these problems in mind and trying to think of how to fix them. And at the time, I just happened to be looking at videos on some Chinese websites. And for anyone who doesn't know, in Asia, they tend to do it where messages fly by from left to right, but they just kind of like overlay them on the video. It's kind of interesting, but it's still quite not quite aesthetically pleasing. So it's kind of like a fusion of the two, where we decided to put it sideways, where chat boxes go from left to right in a sort of mosaic style, which not only helps you to like read more messages, but it also means that we could create a secondary lane as well, where we decided to split out shorter messages as well as emojis basically into a lower lane, which could just fly by quickly as opposed to staying around, as a way to kind of counteract what you see on Twitch, for example, where a lot of people spam emotes, or a lot of people kind of like copy and paste the same kind of short message. It's a way to kind of like split those out, to bring them down there, to kind of like just let it go by. You noticed it, but the conversation can still flow in the top half. And yeah, that's where that chat came from. And then at this point, we kind of had that initial idea, and even even the initial designs from it have changed as we've kind of like progressed, and we kind of used it a bit and we realized some things work and some things don't. So we kind of progressed things from there, and it'll probably still progress. But yeah, we kind of from the ground up had those problems in mind that we wanted to clearly solve, as well as keeping what works as well. But yeah, just bringing it into the future, really.
Yeah,
Updating something
nice.
which hasn't really been updated in 10 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you mentioned like the fun chaos there you got going on, and you
Mm.
did sort of touch on the different lines of stuff. But obviously, for those people who can't have the visual example that have just joined the Twitter space at the moment, how are we sort of making it so you can get like reactions and that kind of stuff flowing in chat? Like, do they overlap each other, or do we have that kind of separation? What's like? How does that all work?
Yeah. So that bottom lane, which we don't really have an official name for it. I myself call it the chaos lane. Some people just call it the shorter lane. We probably have a fun, clear name for it at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a button in the bottom right which has what we call reactions in it. It could be a heart, it could be a thumbs up, it could be a flame emoji, it can be a face palm. You select which one you want, and you can just tap it, and it will come along the bottom and kind of just float along. The more you tap it, the more that shows up for the broadcaster, and the broadcaster can see it as well. Um, so you sometimes see at times people kind of like battling with each other, where some person does a thumbs up and the other person does a face palm, and they're kind of like battling to see who's going to win. It's quite fun. And then alongside that, you kind of have people's messages as well. So you have people saying, putting the low hearts and being like, love it, and it will kind of go past like that, all in its own kind of lane. Um, and yeah, that's the way that works, really. Yeah, definitely keeps
Yeah.
that kind of chaotic feeling, but you can definitely understand the kind of gist of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. That chaotic feeling is. I like the chaos lane. I like that name. It's good. It kind of describes it really well, actually. You know, you've got the short messages, the sort of like the longer ones that linger around in chat, whereas like the chaos lane kind of kind of takes over sometimes.
Mm.
No, it's yeah, that's really good. Cool. So that was obviously our different lanes there. Sort of like moving away from chat a little bit because I think we pretty much answered. Does anyone have any questions actually in the stream now? If you do, raise your hand or say anything before we move on to our show manager.
Or
But,
tweet at us, I guess.
or
I don't
tweet at
use
us,
Twitter
yeah,
too much, but you can. I'm sure that's a thing you can do.
at more platform, you know. Have we got any requests or are we good to go?
Oh, Tim has requested.
Nice, bring him on.
There you go. Hello, Tim. You should be able to speak now.
Wow, I just requested. That's cool.
There you go. Hello.
Yeah, obviously, I had a question to that. I was wondering if we could talk about how, with chat on like other live streaming platforms, what do you think were the sort of like the biggest problems with those other ones, which sort of led us to like completely redesign it? What were the key things do you think with it?
Yeah, the main two things were kind of. Oh, great question, by the way. Thank you for the question. Yeah, so two of the main big problems were kind of the ones I already mentioned, which was the fact that when you have a lot of people talking, it kind of it becomes quite unreadable. You can't quite understand what's going on, and that was something which I think everyone, like, as soon as they see the chat, like, it's something that instantly everyone kind of like gets and knows that it's a sort of a problem. But it's something that we wanted to address from like the ground up. The other thing being that with messages that go kind of like along the side, especially for us with a mobile first platform, if you have a short message, like if you just say hi, then you're taking up an entire row on the chat, which is like one entire message for a word, like a 2-letter word. So you can only get five messages in, no matter how long their length is, and that was something else we wanted to tackle. Where, you know, if you are only doing short messages, then really being kind of like keep some of that room for other longer messages. So we kind of wanted to work with the length of messages as well, and not just have to dedicate an entire row to a short message. Because I think on other mobile platforms for live streaming, you can only get in about like 6 messages at a time, no matter what the length is. So yeah, that was one of the other big things that we wanted to battle as well. Cool.
Nice. That's a very good question. Tim, does that answer it? Are you happy?
Any follow-up questions?
That's it for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, change the voice effects.
Oh.
So
Oh
my
my
God.
god.
Kick me off there now, but yeah, that sounded cool.
I got really confused. I thought another person joined.
We need to utilize that voice
Use the
changing
voice
feature
changes,
more.
yeah. Alright, thanks guys.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye-bye.
I'm now going to kick you. But thank you for the question. Thanks, Tim. Bye.
We love
Wow.
the squeaky voice. That was good. That was good.
Love is a strong word.
It is. It is potentially a dangerous word, but there you go. Okay, cool. So I think that's everything to do with chat. Let's move on to our show manager and that kind of stuff as
Oh,
well. So
shit. So I just,
yeah.
I thought I was going to kick Tim from being I kicked Tim from the entire thing. He can't join back in. Sorry.
Oh no. If you
yeah.
if you logged out of Twitter, you can watch it on a just no Twitter account.
I can't even apologize to him because he's not here.
Oh, he's Quiz Kits in. He's
Oh,
pulled
there
out the
we
big
go.
guns.
Sorry about that, Tim. I thought it meant kick from the call, not kick you from the entire room.
Yeah, this is good. As if you guys can't tell, this is our first Twitter space, so we're still getting to grips and stuff, but that's good. Okay, so moving on to our show manager then. So my first question is obviously how does it work? You know, what makes it different from YouTube, sort of make your own stream, that kind of stuff. What can you do that you can't do on any other platform?
Yeah, so this is quite a big one. The stroke rate in particular was kind of like our a really big challenge for us because it doesn't really exist in any kind of capacity anywhere. It's a the whole point of Moar is that it's supposed to make your live streams interactive. This can be done with if you've seen our videos, you've probably seen we've got some polls in there, which is already in there, as well as stuff like quiz a wheel in the future, as well as stuff like randomizer wheels, anything you can think of in order to create your own live interactive shows. Obviously, as part of that, you need to be able to make them beforehand, and that's kind of what the show creator is about: being able to take these elements which are interactive and put them into your show and customize them. It doesn't take any kind of coding as well. We kind of try and take on all of the difficulties from the streamer themselves so that they can just make their show really easily. They don't have to think about like how any of the technical stuff works. We kind of try and take care of that. But as part of this, trying to make it as simple as possible and as quick as possible to make a show, we then it kind of results in what we have currently, which is something which is very, very high in kind of UX and usability, where we want to make it as simple as possible. So in terms of like what it actually is, it's very much akin to kind of the same feeling as if you've ever used kind of like a movie maker type thing. You kind of have like a timeline on the bottom, and then you have these individual what we call blocks, which are the actual pieces of interaction. So let's say a poll, for example, you could drag a poll in, put it down to your little timeline, write what the question and answers for the poll are, and then you'd be completely set up to run a poll then on Moar. It's pretty much as easy as that, and you can make a show within 5 minutes if you really wanted to, which is one of our big things, keeping it nice and simple and nice and easy to use and very quick to make shows. Which we have QuizKit themselves in here, which is our last product, and we took a lot of our learnings from that in order to make it as easy as possible. And I guess to answer the actual question, which was how is it different from the other platforms? When it comes to other platforms, you don't really have it. Pretty much just allows you to stream, and that's at that point just lets you go and lets you do your own thing. Whereas the show creator is the part which actually makes your show interactive. It's where you can like clearly make your show into what it is. Add those polls in there if you want to do a poll show. Add a randomizer if you want to do like a random ingredients to make a cooking show type thing. Anything like that in order to make your show what it is, instead of just being a simple go live and you just do your own thing. We want to get the audience involved, and the show creator is how we're going to do that.
Lovely. Yeah, no, that sounds really good. Obviously, this is kind of like a double whammy question. So you mentioned that you can kind of do whatever you wanted, that kind of stuff. But now, what kind of things exist on the platform already? Like, what are people making, and how long, on average, is a show or a stream on the platform?
Yeah. So right now we have the ability to do polls and the ability to bring on a guest. Very soon we'll have the ability to create quizzes, which will be coming very soon, which will be very, very exciting, which are kind of the first steps in what you can do with shows. We definitely want to build it out more, but since this is what we know, it's kind of a nice first step. In terms of shows that have been made with just those, I'm sure you'll know as well, since you do some of these shows.
Yeah.
There's actually quite a lot you can do with just those simple tools. It's quite interesting to see what people have been creating. You can, we've had shows where people bring on guests, and they try and convince the audience of a certain topic, and then they then use the poll to try and figure out which way they want to go. We've got we had DJ Steamsy in here a second ago, who also did a similar thing where they did a kind of music quiz where they played a song, brought on a guest, and then the guest would guess the song, which was very fun as well. I guess the second part as well. We also I forgot about this, but we have another interaction which is kind of like similar to a poll, but we call it tug of war, where audience decide between two options, and it kind of like sees where the room is split between those two. It's kind of like an offshoot of a poll as well, which has been used in order to do something similar to what I mentioned before. In terms of length as well, I think at the moment they've been aimed to be around 15 minutes, but people have been having just so much fun that sometimes you go on a bit longer.
Yeah, I think Steamsy's one, when he did when Steamsy did their own one, that went for like an hour, didn't it? An hour and a bit, like, because you were just having so much fun, you didn't want to stop streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Cool. That sounds really awesome. So, I've actually got a few questions through from Toad via Discord. He said he doesn't mic, so can't come on the space. But I've got a few questions through from him. So, the first one is like, it's kind of like on Twitch and YouTube and this stuff. They have stuff like subscriptions, and, following people on the platform. Do we have anything in place at the moment that might allow you to follow someone or subscribe to them, anything like that? Or is that still a work in progress?
This is actually something we're working on. Probably literally next week will be when we start designing it out in terms of everything to do with following. Our main thing will probably be to do with following shows. And we're also going to be, I guess this is one of the things where it could be good to get some people's feedback as well. But following is definitely a really important part in any platform, because you want people to know about when things are going on. But I think for us, we want people to make a series of shows and have it so then people can follow those shows in particular. So if someone's interested in, let's go back to the DJ Steamsy example, where they might really like their quiz to do with music. Maybe they want to follow that show, and we'll let them follow that show. And then every time they do a new show in that series, then they'll be notified about it. Or if DJ Steamsy isn't even the one hosting it, maybe it's a different host every week, then that same show will still be notifying people about who's doing that show format the next week. And then we also want to integrate more of social media as well into the app. So then things like Twitter and Instagram, which are completely focused on exactly these type of things, where it's to do with following, keeping people updated, and all this stuff. Right now, we're going to implement that more closely into the app, since really our focus wants to be on making sure that the live streaming part and the interactive part is really as good as it can be, because we're still a startup and we're still quite small, so we don't want to try and take on too much at once, and trying to make a live stream platform by itself is already quite a hard task. So trying to then also be a social media platform at the same time was just a challenge which we thought we could, for now, keep to the people who've been doing it for 10, 20 years, and where people's following already is, and just more closely integrate into our app. So hopefully we should have something like right now the idea is that you can maybe have a bit of a Twitter feed or something like that actually inside the app, so people can see and go to your Twitter and follow you if they want to, but kind of keep the updates to there while we're focusing more on the show side of things, which is what we're concerned about, which is the content.
Cool. No, that sounds really good. I like it. So I'm aware we're coming up on our 20-minute mark, but I do have another question from Toad here. So he says, when is the release date, or when can he actually get on the app? So that's a very good question. Do you want to go ahead and answer that?
Well, if you ask in the Discord, you can get on it right now, probably, if you wanted to if you want to be one of our early testers. Otherwise, I think our open beta is in June. I think is the date that we're going to be doing it open. And when we say open, this will be open to anyone to download the app and watch, whereas streamers will still be closed off for a bit of time while we're still trying to figure out that side. And then sometime after that, probably somewhat closely after that, we'll open it up so then anyone can stream as well. And then the official release will probably be later in this year / maybe the start of next year if it gets pushed back. But hopefully in that time. Hopefully I'm not saying anything wrong there.
No, that sounds good. Another thing is obviously in the in our bio. So in our bio on Twitter, you can click the link to the website and you can sign up via that way as well. So if anyone here is interested, I can see we got DJ Mealy, I think that's how you pronounce that, and then we got Toad as well. If you guys are interested in hopping on,
we have 2 hidden listeners as well.
Oh, exciting! So if anyone listening is interested, then you can sign up via Discord or via Moar.vip is the link to our website where all of our social links are on there as well. So yeah, that's sign up. Hopefully we'll see some of you there. Hopefully you got interested from this Twitter space.
Yeah,
cool. Does anyone have any last minute questions at all? If you want to raise a hand or anything, but if not, I think we should be good to go. There's a lot of good stuff out today. It's like we got reactions as well. Like you can do quiz kit with the love heart. I'm putting the love heart out there as well. Clapping. So we've got another question from Wooden Toe. Just a final one here. He's saying, is the sign up feature to sign up to become a streamer or to be a viewer?
I guess depends on which one you want to be. If you want to get involved in the streaming side, we'd always love to have people test it out a bit more. I'm sure Joe probably deals with more so the getting people on board, but I think it's open to both, right?
Yes, it is. It's open to both at the moment. So if you want to come on via Discord or our website, we can get you on running your own show if you want to, or just viewing and watching other stuff as well. So it's totally up to you. Whatever you wanna do, whether you just want to be a viewer or a streamer, we can facilitate that at the moment, which is nice. One of our early streamers, which is exciting.
Yes.
Cool. Right. Well, I think that's everything. So thank you guys very much for joining. Zac, thank you very much for being our host today. It's been lovely having you and lovely talking about all things Moar. I'm very excited stuff. We'll probably run another one of these at some point soon, where we go over some more exciting stuff we've got to come up in the future on Moar. But yeah, that's pretty much everything from today.
Cool. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us and asking us some questions. It was very fun.
Yeah,
I'm sure if anyone has any extra questions, then they can just tweet at us and sure we'll reply still. So if you do think of anything like half an hour later and you're like, I wish I asked it, just tweet it at us and I'll be more than happy to answer there as well.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah. I think I've just turned off my phone. Hello?
We can hear you.
We're still good. Yes, anyone who's interested, I can see we just had another viewer hop in. The link to getting invited on our beta is in our bio, and you can also join our Discord as well. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you guys very much for joining.
Cool. Thanks everyone. I'll see you another time. Goodbye.
Bye.